House Judiciary Committee member, Congressman Greg Steube, joins us live now. Sir, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great to be with you.
Of course. So, Governor Evers had asked the president not to come to Kenosha, saying it wasn't going to help. But as we saw play out live yesterday, this was the president in Kenosha touring the devastation. He had a roundtable with officials and some business owners there, and he pledged to help Kenosha rebuild. $1 million to Kenosha law enforcement, $4 million to help small businesses, more than $42 million to support public safety efforts statewide. I don't know about you, but what really stuck out to me was hearing from those business owners who were, innocent victims in all of this, and businesses that have been around for more than 100 years, some of them. How do you think yesterday played out?
I think it played out great. I applaud the president for going, despite the fact that the Democratic mayor and Democratic governor didn't want him there. I think it was a great show of respect for Kenosha and for Wisconsin and for law and order. The president's been very clear from day one that this is not acceptable in our cities and in our streets. And he's one of the few people that is doing everything he can to try to stop this violence. Democrats, mayors and governors that are in Portland and New York City and Chicago don't want his help. And you see what's happening as a result of that. Crime, looting, violence, people are being killed. And so I'm glad that the president stands up for law and order, stands up for the mass majority of Americans that don't think this is the type of activity that should be happening in our cities.
Meantime, Congressman, you have written an op-ed explaining why you think universal mail-in voting is so dangerous. What are your key takeaways?
Yeah, in Florida, we just had our primary election where 2.2 million ballots were cast by absentee mail-in voting. There's a big difference between universal mail-in voting that the Democrats want and the type of absentee voting that we do here in Florida. You have to be a registered voter in Florida to request an absentee ballot. You have to be voter ID'd and verified that you're that person, that you reside in the state of Florida, you're a citizen of the country before you can request a ballot. That's much different than what's going on in California and some of these other states. And what Democrats want to do nationwide is to mail ballots to every person. It would be disastrous for our country. You would have illegal immigrants voting. You would have people that aren't citizens of our country voting. You would have people who have died but aren't off the voter rolls voting. And you wouldn't know where these ballots are coming from. They would just be showing up at the supervisor of elections office, not knowing who actually is the person casting this vote. So universal mail-in voting would be disastrous for our country. And what we do here in Florida is very, very different than that, as you saw in our primary last week.
Let me ask you this. If there were enough time to be able to put a proper system in place for this, would you be open to that idea and that conversation? Or are you just, generally speaking, totally against it? It appears right now things are attempting to be rushed in certain areas to try and get this all ready for November when, as you know, there's a lot at stake here.
Yeah, they want to do it now so that anybody and everybody can vote. It's taken years to get Florida's absentee system to the place where it is, with all of the checks and balances to ensure that the people that are actually voting are the ballots that are being cast. So you can't do that in the next 30 to 60 days. I mean, absentee ballots in Florida are going to be going out in the next couple of weeks to voters. We have very hard deadlines that the ballot has to be received by the supervisor of elections office on election day, and if it's not counted. Those are the type of safeguards that need to be in place that you can't put in place nationwide in the time of this upcoming election.
Yeah. So would you be okay with it, though, if the proper time and everything was taken place in order to ensure that this could be done safely and correctly?
Yeah, if it's done the way that we do it here in Florida, absolutely, to ensure that it's actually citizens and registered voters voting, and there are voter ID laws to ensure that that those people that are requesting the ballot are registered voters in those states. Absolutely, if it's done the way that Florida's done.
That's a great point, Jillian and Congressman. I mean, it's not like this election snuck upon us. I guarantee we're going to have one in 2024. Maybe we'll be ready by then. Congressman Greg Steube, we appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, great to see you.
You too.